I need to change this effect. But I'm if I change effect. Good morning, how are you? Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you're watching us from. How we all doing? You're welcome to Connect and Reflect. Connect and Reflect is you're just coming here, but we've been existing from Facebook, where we bring relatable topics of interest. It's a talk show where we bring relatable topics of interest. We hear your opinion, you hear, understand. As I have other co-hosts, so I'm not doing this alone by myself. And for those who are just joining us and meeting us, my name is Adiola, and I have other co-hosts with me here on this program who will be joining us in this conversation. If you're here for the first time, you're welcome to Connect and Reflect. We bring topics that interest you, we reflect on it, we have understanding, our own understanding on this conversation. So you're welcome, you're welcome, you're welcome. On today's topic, we'll be talking about the new Nigerian tax reform. So how does this affect us? Is it a blessing to you and I, or it's a burden? Is it a blessing or it's a burden on us? So those are the questions we're looking into. Is it a way to help the poor, or just to even add more burdens to their burdens? These are many more to be discussing. Is it only for the rich, or is it all for the poor too? So this and many more we'll be discussing. Connect and Reflect is topics that is trending, and we need to hear, understand the issues on the topic. Not only how will I put it? Just, you are not here to play, but just want to see how it goes. You're welcome. So Nigeria says new tax reform will help the economy, but who will benefit from this? Who will benefit from this tax reform? Are this tax reform helping the poor or protecting the rich? So we'll be discussing that too. Should Nigeria pay more tax when basic amenities are still lacking? And would they really judiciously use this tax? Hold on. So would our government judiciously use this tax thing? So these are the more we'll be discussing. So how will this tax issue affect salary earners? These are many more we'll be talking about. With food, transportation, what's it called, prices of food, other things, basic things that we use, will it not increase with this tax drama? Because if businesses know that they're going to pay tax on their money, will they not increase their products? And if we know that we're going to hello, yeah, should people earning minimum wages also pay same tax rate with others? We'll be discussing this. Let me see if we have my co-host here ready to join. I won't be doing this conversation by myself. We're plenty. We're plenty. So I won't be doing it by myself only. Others will go join us, and we'll move on with today's conversation. So after this tax, is there going to be new changes in the system in Nigeria? Would this help us? Let's wait for new tax reform. What are the basic things we need to know? How does it affect you and I? How does it affect you and I? New tax reform. So a lot of time with the tax issue changes that happened said anybody that earn more than 800,000 in a year, if you earn more than 800,000 in a year, the amount that money 800 will be deducted from your total income for the whole year, and that is what is taxable. And that is what is taxable. So that means if you're not earning up to 800, this tax conversation may not be for you if you are not earning more than 800. But if you're earning 2 million, and that is basically what salary what's it called, government earners, are making. So if you're earning 2 million, 2.5, 3 million, so that means they're going to deduct 800 from your account, from your money. So what I mean is, like, it's not that they take it from you, like they will just remove it from the taxable money. That's make 2 million minus 800, making 1.2. So the tax is on the 1.2. Then after they have reduced your NHIS, that's your health insurance, your rent insurance, all those insurance that is deductible from your pay, after that has been deducted, now they take 800, not remove it, like it's not going to their account. So they'll just like, okay, let's tax you on the amount of money that you have left. You're welcome. Finally, invite. So let's tax you basically on that 1.2, not the whole 2 million by that. You're welcome, bro. Today, how you doing?
Good morning. I'm doing all right. Hey, Carol,
Good to have you again. So basically, till we open the floor, it's still going to be only co-host that's going to be up for now, to open the floor for other people to bring, or they have any view. Okay, so with that, we'll be able to control the influx of people that can come in. So today's topic, is we want to talk about this the new tax reform in Nigeria that started January 1st. And I know this conversation is not new, just that it's now being implemented and it's right on our face. We've been talking about this. Government have started it around October thereabouts, or June last year. But because it's right before us now, then we need to talk about it. So this Nigerian reform, this new reform thing, is it a burden or a blessing? Let me start with that, bro, today.
Is that a question for me?
Yeah.
Hello?
Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the question.
Oh,
Is it a burden or a blessing?
well, it depends on how it is being implemented, basically. For for the country, it's of course it's going to be an opportunity for the country to generate revenue, right? And it's a blessing in the sense that, of course, the country as a whole have a way of tracking who pays taxes. Before, in Nigeria, there's really no way of how you track who pays taxes, right? And it leads to a lot of, like, losses that should go to the company, to the not company now, to the country's uh, pocket, basically. Let me use that word, right? That's one side of things. The other side of things is taxes is, I mean, the new tax. I see people treating it as something new, right? it's not new. I mean, people have been paying taxes in Nigeria. We have VAT, we have corporate tax, we have payee, which is the income tax that what is this word that I'm looking for now?
Pay
That's
as you go.
salary earners pay, right? But the difference between this one, like I said, is it kind of makes it more kind of like broadening the net. And then now there's really no way you can hide from it now. Let me give you an example. I was working in Nigeria, and even though my salary was a measly sum, right, my company was still deducting tax from my salary, right? But if my company is deducting tax from my salary, Shebi Oyeki need tax ID. I do not have a tax ID, but my company was deducting tax as low as 60,000 naira that I was making that year, right? So they collect that tax every month without what that means is even though they collect taxes on me, they are not paying it to the federal government's pocket, right? So because if I'm paying taxes, of course I will have a tax ID. I think it was recently, maybe about a year ago, that I eventually got a tax ID. Now this time around, of course, you know that is theft, and nobody can trace that because I don't even think that federal government knows that I was working for that company as of the time. So that's the case with almost everybody. There are people that are paying taxes that the government does not know they are paying taxes. So that is the blessing part of it. And of course, it makes it easier in the sense that if you're, of course, we're probably going to get to that later on, but if you're making some amount of money that doesn't get to the threshold, you're not paying taxes at all, right? So that's a blessing in its own. But what I started with, which is it depends on how it is being implemented, is it might eventually be a course if someone that sits in this agency collects all these taxes and then eventually didn't get to the government's purse because everything is still being embezzled at the end of the day, which kind of defeats the whole purpose. But generally, if you're looking at it from the superficial layer, if I can use that word, it is a good policy that is supposed to make things better in perspective. I think I'm not a financial person in any ways. I'm not a tax professional,
We are just citizens.
but that's what I think to it.
We're just citizens that is bothered about the state of the nation and want to talk about it from our personal opinion, not from a professional or authority, right?
Yeah, I needed to put that disclaimer on because before I get curses that yeah you're citing the government, yeah the government that are embezzling money. I know, but and again the other thing is in terms of blessing is sometimes one needs to just put ears to the ground and take advantage of such things, right? The tax also is also going to be beneficial to SME, like small and medium enterprise, because most of them, again, not like there are some articles of the policy that really benefit you in the sense that if you have a small business, you don't pay tax. If your turnover, or is it, I can't remember, it's not up to a certain amount of money, so all those local government people that will come and be closing your shop because you do not pay, I think there's a name for that tax as well. They won't do that anymore, and you're not going to be paying tax. And then there are some sectors that are tax exempt. Again, you're probably going to get to that later on, but I just kind of like saying all of this because you're asking about whether it's a blessing or a curse. If you're in agricultural sector, if you have a registered agriculture company and then you have your books, you have 5 year tax holiday, meaning that you won't pay taxes for anything that you get for your company for the next 5 years, which is good for that sector. And again, the reason why federal government would do something like that is they are looking at some sectors that they want to boost, and they are using that as an opportunity to boost that sector. So one of them is the agriculture sector. So if you're doing anything in agriculture, you won't pay taxes for the next 5 years. Same thing with healthcare. So if you're in healthcare and then not even in healthcare business, any healthcare products is not taxed. So again, they are trying to help our well-being in the sense that if you buy drugs, if you do anything that is health related, you're not paying taxes on those, and that includes all the VAT tax as well.
Okay, noted. Good. So now a lot of people are saying we are good at copying other people's, standards because other countries are paying tax. Now we also want to pay tax. Like we want it to be, the reform that is newly introduced to all of us. Now it concerns all of us. Unlike some set of initially it was some set of people who will feel that they're paying, or they're even paying, they didn't even know. Now everybody is and they know that they are paying the tax. Now they say that in other countries we can see what they are using the tax money for. Now if you start paying now, is it now that we are paying to some people's pockets? What do you think about that? Should Nigeria pay more tax when we lack basic amenities?
Thank you. So I want to correct a notion again, based on my opinion. With this tax policy, Nigerians are not paying more taxes, but more Nigerians are paying taxes. So it's a different thing. Me as an individual, my taxes does not increase
Okay.
as a person. So that means hallelujah. Okay, that's a good one. That's a good one, Sha. It
Anyway.
shows that the spirit of the Lord is here. Yeah. So me as a person, it's not like, oh, now my life is becoming harder as a Nigerian because they're introducing taxes. I think that is one notion that I want to correct, because maybe I can do a little bit segue and kind of like explain
Yeah.
what the tax is, right?
Mhm.
The previous tax in Nigeria is basically static in the sense that if you earn a certain amount of money, you already know this is the percentage that you're paying, right? The new tax is progressive in that the more you earn, the more your taxes. And again, hearing that might sound like, oh, they are going to take more or every of my money. No, that's not what it means. It's like the way taxes are done in the US. And I'm going to go to the question that you asked, but let me just say this real quick. If you earn between a certain amount of money to a certain amount of money, there is a particular tax that you're going to pay. Anything above that, it's a different rate. So let me give an let me just throw numbers out. Let's say from 0 to 100,000, you're paying 5% on that 0 to 100,000. Meaning that if your first 100,000, you're paying 5%, which is 5,000 naira, right? From 100,000 to 200,000, you're paying 10%. So meaning the next 100,000 is going to be 10,000. Right. So now if you earn 200,000, what that means is your tax is 15,000. You understand what I'm saying? Which is still less than 10% of 200,000. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay.
Aha. So that's how it is made to be like progressive. And the first thing that I started with is the taxes are not increasing. It is actually being made better, if I can use that word. Now, the question that you said about copying other countries,
Yeah.
every country in the world
Pay tax.
have a way of, I don't want to say pay taxes. No, not every country collect taxes. Have a way of generating revenue, because every infrastructure that needs to be deployed in the country will come from somewhere, right? So If I'm saying, oh, I shouldn't pay taxes, you're basically saying it's a case of Babatu Biomomano, right? And the Omomano feels like, why should I be paying money to my dad, right? Because if you don't pay money to your dad is not working now, is an old man that is that is not working. So how will he survive? That's basically how countries are, right? A country that is not generating revenue, you won't see the roads and all of that. Again, law, we're still going to get to the roads and all of that before people attack me. Oh, you understand? But ideally, taxes are how government make money, because the government is not a profit-making entity. Government only product it on that to make profit. Then the question will be, well, should we have oil and all of that? Yes, we do. But the revenue from the oil and all the things that we're exporting, is it enough? Because remember, it is from there that the government will pay salaries of salary earners. Basically, governance or government is supposed to be spending money and not making out of it, right? Taxes are how you do that. So what Nigeria is doing is not copying other countries blindly. It is more like, okay, you know what? How do we continue to generate revenue? Because right now, the two ways you can do that, or the two ways you can fund budget, is you either have enough money, which is you get it from taxes and all of that, or you continue to borrow. Now, we've borrowed blind in the sense that and again, that's another segue. Now, the reason why this tax is also important, and I think I was mentioning it even before Tinubu came in, that I was talking to a couple of my friends that by the time Tinubu comes in, there would be a sort of, and he said it during his campaign, that he's going to reduce purchasing power and all of it. These are the effect of what we're seeing, right? Because he needs to kind of like tightening things a little bit. They started with the with the CBN policies and all of that, with the rates. They kind of increased it and all. Now, Tinubu being an economist, I already know that something like this was coming, because of the fact that the major. Okay, sorry, I'm going to come to you now. Hold on. The major way we make money, which is the oil sales, our oil production fell crazily. So we're not producing as much as we're supposed to be producing. So where do we get the money? And then here comes Buhari. May God may he rest in peace. Buhari's government basically. Okay, I'll do that. Put butter on it. Okay, the Buhari basically what is the word that I'm looking for? So what Buhari basically did was to go into our future and borrow money. You understand? He said, so you kind of said that, okay, you know what? We have crude oil, right? The crude, so what they call it is a forward sales of crude oil, right? Saying that the crude oil that we're going to sell to you for the next, I think maybe 5 or 10 years, give us money, like borrow against it. So now, as you're selling crude oil, we're not even making money from all the production that we're doing. So it's obvious that something is going to happen. Either we start selling each other on the market to make money, or we. So that's a joke. Sorry, maybe insensitive joke. But the only way we could make money is to increase how we make money internally. And again, it's not increase. It is just that a typical Nigerian does not even know that tax exists, right? Because either they deliberately did not pay it by evading taxes, or they don't even have the knowledge of it. Let me give an example. One person that Jashegun just dropped. One person that is a typical example of that is this boy, Pella, that was saying, oh, he made this money, he made this so money and all of that. and then FIRS slammed him, whatever, and then he was crying that I didn't. Then he's made one stupid comment, but I didn't make the money in Nigeria. He was on TikTok. I'm like, that is how you know that education is not a scam, as they say, because there's something they call tax residency. You're in Nigeria, even if you make money in mass, you understand? You pay the money. The way it works is, if your business is in Nigeria, you pay money for your business. If you're staying in Nigeria, you pay taxes for your revenue, and that is one way. Another example is one other person that is very lousy online, Okpeyemi Famaki. He was bragging then about how he makes this amount of money every month and all of that, and then they slammed him, tax whatever. So he started crying foul as well. So it is both: either people are deliberate in evading taxes, or they are even ignorant of the taxes. So we're not copying new things. Let me just round off. We're not copying new things. We're just standardizing what we have existing, and it's supposed.
Will corruption not be the order of the day? Like we are paying more or we are doing more now? When I say more, like it now cut across everybody.
Mhm.
So will corruption not even eat it, since we know that Nigeria is one of the highly corrupted countries?
Okay, good. That's a very valid question that you asked. And again, after this, uh, uh, I'm going to allow someone else talk on this. Um, like I said earlier, individual Nigerians are not paying more, but government is making more money from tax. Let me put it that way, because I don't like because if you are saying paying more, it kind of give a negative connotation to what is going on, right? Individual Nigerians don't pay more taxes. In fact, they probably pay less tax now, right? Compared to before. But Nigeria is making more money. Think about it this way. The reason why Nigeria is making more money now is the amount or the volume of, no, not volume, the number of people that are going to be paying taxes now compared to the number of people that pay taxes in 2025 is probably going to be times 10. I know that for a fact. You understand? Now, the question that you asked, I would like to say that is a secondary conversation. No. I'm serious. Is collecting tax a good thing? Yes. But the secondary conversation is how that money is going to be spent, knowing fully well that our leaders, you understand what I'm saying? But which kind of leads to another thing. If you're paying taxes now that you are not paying before, and election time comes, and you're still fighting or you are shouting for someone that have a track record of embezzling money, it is on you.
Bam.
Shikena.
But who does not have a track record of
Bec-
investing money? Anyways, let's move on.
Well,
Sugar of London, you're welcome. Thanks for joining us.
yes. I'm so sorry the other time. I
Yeah.
tried to stop the
That's okay.
music that was playing on the ground. Now, what got me interested in conversation that you guys are having is this issue of taxes. Um, I don't know what is the lay down procedures that has been put in place concerning this new revenue thing.
Hmm.
I've been away for a long time now, so I don't really follow the news, but all I can hear is that they want to be taxing us now, they want to tax us to death, blah blah blah. You know, like what is really going on concerning the tax? Can tax really work in Nigeria? Because the last time we had that they borrowed money and they share it among themselves. You could imagine that. I was like, okay, a situation whereby the one you even borrowed is not being utilized very well. So I wonder what they will do with the people taxes being paid. Because here that we are, You could see 24/7. The project is going. Once they are finishing another one is starting. Do you understand me? So it has been, even if they did not tell you to pay, you are bound to pay. It's like a contract. As soon as you enter the state, if you don't pay, they can come for you. So everybody know that the tax is what keep us moving here.
Mhm.
So that's where my question lies.
So, to the best of my knowledge, Nigeria is not a second fiddle country; it's a full-blown country. So, I believe if other countries can pay tax or collect tax, so we can. Now you're saying they want to tax you to death. I don't understand that part. But where you are paying tax, and even you may not know they have been taxing you to death too there.
No. That person was just talking, like when our people are talking, sometimes they say what is, paining them. And they will be like, okay, this is going, they don't agree to it. Like they should do a kind of reform on themselves before they're asking us to pay. You see what I mean? You see where they are coming from.
So,
I'm
like,
talking about Nigeria.
yes, I know. I know
Mm.
we're all talking about Nigeria here. So, like Babatunde said, he said that what they will use the money to do, the implementation of that tax is another conversation on its own. Let's give them what's it called? After this, making tax go around everybody and all of us that are paying tax is now obvious to us that we are paying it. Initially, we are paying, we didn't know that we are paying, or we are paying, it doesn't get to the government. Now, everybody is now in the know with the help of social media and influencers, and everybody is conversant with the news. Now we are paying this tax, and it is expected of us to pay it. And how it's being paid is being there's a breakdown for it. Not that you are paying too much. It's what you earn that will determine how much you are paying. If you earn more than 800, less than 800 in a year, you are not taxable. They're not taking tax from you. So it's just the same way that we pay tax in our Western world. It's what you earn that determine how much you're being taxed on. The more you earn, the more tax you pay. And that's why a lot of people that do overtime, they know it on their body. By the time they do and work, at the end of the day, they pay more tax. So the same thing is what we are talking about in Nigeria. Those people with big businesses will pay more tax. I think the focus is on those ones, not even we are tertiary and shopware. So the focus is more on those companies, big names are making a lot of money. They need to pay tax. While our tertiary and shopware, if you earn less than 800, you are not even paying anything. But if you pay between, that was the breakdown. If you are earning more than 800, that is probably you are earning 1 million in a whole year. Your tax is on 200, and that is the difference between the 800 minus 1 million. So you are being taxed on 200. And how much is tax on 200? You get what I mean? So they are not taxing you to death. I want you to understand that, and that's what Bertone has been explaining, that the tax, even it's going to be lesser now because we have a breakdown of how it works. You and I we can calculate our tax with what we earn. I hope, does that help you, Shigo of London?
Oh yeah.
And
But
sorry, go
this
ahead.
Okay, you want
okay,
to ask
go
something
ahead.
before you move on? Bertone?
No. I told you I don't want to kind of like cut him off from what he was about to say. That was I said he should go ahead.
Okay, go ahead, please. Shigo then.
Okay. Individually, those that work under government, I think that will work for them. But the person that doesn't have job, that is doing all the side hustle job, are they going to be included?
So that's
So
yeah,
yeah,
no, go
let
ahead.
me quickly provide my perspective on how that is going to play out. Before now, and I think I mentioned it earlier, that for you to have to for you to be for your tax to be known to the government in a way, you have to have a tax ID. And that is kind of like answering the first question that you asked. But I can bet it that up to January this year, most people do not have tax ID. Even people that are working salary jobs. And I use myself as an example when I was working in Nigeria. But what is happening now is everybody in Nigeria will have a tax ID now. Whether you are working with the government, you're not working with the government, whether you have a stable job or you're doing side also or business, you have a tax ID. And how are they going to do that? We all have NIN
Okay.
before you do anything, right? And that is what they are converting to tax ID. And I know that there's a website that you can go now to verify if you have a tax ID right now. It is, I think, taxid.nrs.gov.ni. I can't remember, but I'll think about it. That's how you're gonna know if your NIN has been there's been a tax ID that has been assigned to your NIN. If it is not assigned yet, what the government says is your NIN would create a tax ID using your NIN going forward. That's the first question. The question that and again, going about another thing that you mentioned earlier. Let me not go there. Olotu had mentioned all of that, so there's really no need to go back to that. The question that you asked now is someone that has a side also. Everybody that has a side also now, and the way I'm thinking it's going to be implemented is they would have to do a sort of, I don't know, like we do in the US here, tax refund every year, where you kind of put in your tax, and then the same number that the US use is, to me, the equivalent of it is what we have in Nigeria. So what US used is social security number, right? NIN is basically a social security number as well. You basically have to, so you're going to put in filing your taxes every year. And if you don't, so the way it's not going to start immediately, but government will kind of gradually ease into it to get people that are doing this side also. An example of that is they are saying that content creators, social media influencers, and all of that, they are asking them to have a sort of registration so they know what they are doing, and that's how they get you right. In the sense that before you do any form of registration, you have to provide your tax ID. If you're doing investment in stocks, right, they will ask you to provide your tax ID or your NIN, and that is how they track that. There's some income that you make that it doesn't even have to get to your pocket before it is deducted. An example of that is stock dividends, right? They already charge 10% of that right now, right? So if any money from stocks is coming into your account, before it lands in your account, they already deduct the 10%. So now that if they increase that to maybe 15%, or they have a different structure for that, they will deduct that. But the point that I'm making is it might not cover everybody yet, but gradually everything will be standardized that you have to report the job that you're doing. And that works as well, in the sense that, well, hopefully they implement it very well, right? If you cannot just be spending money and don't have a particular job that you're doing that is giving you that money. So nobody can claim, oh, I'm not working, but you're making money, right? All those people that you see on Instagram, again, aka Pella, right? You cannot just be buying houses, buying cars, and then you cannot point to one thing that you're doing. It has to be standardized. So that's my thought on that. Everything will get to a point where before you create any sort of um 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 revenue for yourself, you have to have a tax ID. And they actually started already. There was a push earlier asking everybody that does any form of business to have a CAC, to register such business. So even if you're doing a side also, you get to a point that even if you're a roadside mechanic or organizer, they would ask you to register, because that is, they will have a way of enforcing it, that before you get some benefits, or before you maybe banking accounts and all of that, you can
Benefit.
say that again.
I say benefit in Nigeria.
Trust me, there are benefits in Nigeria. The fact that we don't know about it does not mean there are no benefits. Let me give an example. If you have a small business, there are grants that people apply to, and I know people that actually got money. Like there are some things that you get through Bank of Industries and all of that. The problem we have in Nigeria, and I'm going to reiterate that, is we don't ask questions of people that are around us, and that is why I always believe that the Northerners they are better than us Southerners. An example is the this student loan thingy. Oh, it dropped.
Yeah.
An example is the student loan. When they started the student loan, everybody in the southwest or south, generally in the south, we criticized the government, right? But people in the north, they are collecting this loan. And the way this loan works is it is very fast to collect. So the fact that we are not taking advantage of it does not mean people are not benefiting from Nigeria. Another example, there was a COVID fund in Nigeria that people collected. But two things happened to that COVID fund. The people that collected it, they won't say anything. Right? Maybe because they don't want their neighbors to collect it, or because, and again, another problem entirely that we need to face later on is maybe they are doing paddy thing to give it to themselves and not really advertising it, right? But I've heard of not one, not two, not three grants that real people collected. If you go to Twitter, you see people talk about, oh, I collected this and all of that. During Buhari's regime, Oshibajo championed some, even though I criticized it, right? Oshibajo championed something that they were giving market women money at that point. Those are benefits, right? It's just it's as simple as saying that, oh, before you collect this benefit, what is your tax ID? That's simple. It's as simple as that. There is Fadama. As far back as years ago, there's been Fadama for agriculture. People collected it, but not many people will come out to say it, because to them it's easy money, national cake that they are collecting from government, right? So many people collected Fadama, they did not return the Fadama thing. Recently, there was another agric grant that they were giving 5 million to small agric owners. I applied for it because I have a small sorry, you raised your hand, Chebe, sorry.
Yeah, I applied for one and I got it too during my NYSC.
Exactly. So people are getting it in Nigeria. It's just that we as Nigerians, we are always this pessimistic set of people that, oh, you don't know, but you will be surprised that the people that are joining you in saying Ironong have already applied for it and collected it. There are so many NGOs as well that are giving people grants, right? Of course, investment, which is another conversation entirely, that is also part of it. But to say that there are no benefits in Nigeria, honestly, sir, we are, is it disenfranchising ourselves by believing that there are no benefits in Nigeria? There are benefits in Nigeria.
No, the way I'm so sorry to cut you there.
Yes, sir.
The way you presented it, like we all grow up in Nigeria. This Fadama thing that you talked about, Fadama has been existing ever since I was born in 80s.
Mm-hmm.
So I get to know, and I live around this Okeogun area or your, so I really know what is going on with Fadama.
Mm-hmm.
But during there was I'm trying to remember. There was this one. I don't know. Maybe during the time of Jonathan or uh, Buhari. I'm not sure. They introduced one again that they said every NYC should get it. The people that are looking for job, they should go and register and all that.
I got it
But
in my house.
some, they give some, and later we don't hear about it again. So I'm not trying to pull down my country. My country is still my country, irrespective of maybe I have a green card somewhere, or I have a passport of another nation.
Mm-hmm.
Because even when I speak, they still look at me one kind. Okay, where is this accent? Where did you come from? So, especially here in US. So
Yeah.
what I'm trying to say was that we should some of us that we have eye opener, because if you are outside Nigeria, you will see that there are some things that we ought not to know before. But when we get outside here, we were exposed, and nobody can say, okay, this is it, this is that again. We
Uncle,
already know how it works.
uncle, have you checked your
But
pay?
in situation whereby, okay,
Like, I want to ask you, have you checked your pay slip, know what your regular income was and what you're taking home, and see where all these deductions go through? If you do that in Nigeria, nobody wants to pay tax even anywhere, but we are compelled to do it. I don't know if you understand what I mean.
mm,
So, because if you look at what you earn, what your per hour rate is, and look
mm,
at what you take home, you will see that discrepancy like Kojora one, Ibola Komelo, but we are forced to pay it. So that is the
exactly.
same situation. It's just that we don't adapt to such change in Nigeria. We don't like such change in Nigeria.
Yeah. My question is, even if they take that money, don't get my question.
Mm-hmm.
Would they channel it to a right place?
Oh, okay. That's interesting. Thank you
Because
very much.
when a situation whereby you force something on some people, you know, there's a adage that say when the purpose of a thing is not knowing, the abuse is inevitable. Okay, we know the reason why you deduct this money from us. Are you going to utilize it very well? Are you going to channel it? Who are the people that are going to be in charge of this? Can they accountable? If they said, okay, this is what we generate this year, can the money still be there? Can the money channel into a proper place? So that's my question. It's not the problem of paying.
Yeah.
Government will take whatsoever they want to take from you,
Uh-huh.
whether you like it or not.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you
So
understand?
yeah, no,
But
right. I get the question that you asked, and
mm,
I've actually said it jokingly earlier, maybe before you join, that
okay.
the channeling of the money is a different conversation entirely.
Oh, we need to all
No.
Nigerians. I'm
Let
so
me
sorry.
explain. Let me explain what I mean by that.
Okay.
You see, there's always been a very timely debate about who is responsible for where Nigeria is right now,
Hmm.
whether it is the leaders or the populace. I would say that the blame is shared across the two set of people rather, because it is the populace that becomes the leader. The mind of the populace is screwed. Every Nigerian, if you think about it very well, what every Nigerian think about is how to outsmart the other person.
Mm.
But I believe that this tax would provide sense in a way. But if it doesn't provide sense, then there's problem in Nigeria.
Hmm.
You'll be shocked at how the mindset of some people. right? The mindset of everybody in Nigeria, don't let me say everybody, most Nigerians and most people in Nigeria is, it is corruption when it doesn't involve me. You understand what I'm saying? They will criticize, and then immediately they're in the corridor of power, their mouth will change, right? So now, what I said earlier was how they will channel this money and how will we allow that. Okay, so think about it. If I'm not paying taxes now, if someone is embezzling my money, I don't have any problem with that because at least I'm not paying taxes. They are not taking my
Exactly.
money away. But if you're taking my money and you're still embezzling money, to me, if I'm still siding you as a person, then I'm done, right? So the point that I'm making is I believe this tax should make governance, should shine more light on governance, and people should stand up and be wise to say that this person is not good enough to be in charge of our money because it becomes our no of course it's already our money, right? But that our now becomes capital letter because now it is our, and I know that our is coming from my pocket, literally from the money that I make. You will not now see me be telling you in the social media space or on the road defending someone that I know is embezzling money, that I know my money from my sweat is part of it. You will not, it would, if I want Yaloja, they are compelled to pay taxes, or the people on the road, everybody, you will not, you shouldn't, let me say you shouldn't, because people's mind can be down. I don't want to assume that everybody is sensible. You should not see people collecting 1,000 to vote a particular candidate every year. That's my own assumption. That's what I think, right? But like you said, I cannot 100% be confident in how the money is going to be spent. But the question we need to ask ourselves is chicken or the egg, which one comes first? Right? So I believe that, in my own opinion, this tax is a good start, which will now make everybody now sit up about understanding governance. Let me say something. We always reference Tinubu, the government, the president rather, right? But to me, I think with this tax, we need to now shift our focus to state governors, local government chairmen, councillors. Because if you ask Tinubu today, he will say the subsidy remover that he did, the way he spent it was he gave governors more money, and it's on paper. They cannot deny that they collected more money. The governors of Nigeria, every state, received more than they've ever received from the federal government in the last 2 years.
Well,
And taxes also will be in that same bucket. So your taxes, and of course, tax is also going to be state residency as well. So if you're paying taxes and your governor is, you're not seeing it in your local, and again, your that I mean is not you. So you understand? I'm just training that. You're not seeing changes, and you're still shouting for the governor. Oh, continue. You're not seeing you don't even know who your local government chairmen are, or who your councillors are. Then that is on you if you're paying more taxes. Because if you're paying if you're living in let's say Bodija, your tax would be, a portion of your tax is going to be for Bodija. So you can now go, I mean, if I'm in Bodija, I will now say, okay, when is our local government or councillors doing their town hall? Let's go and meet them. Okay, we've paid tax last year. How was the amount that you collected spent? This is how governance should be in relationship between men and not men, government and people, right? And that was, and I love what I think it was Lagnuso Yonilola that did something like that in Osun State when he was the governor. Is it Labegiodo or something like that, where common people will come for the town hall and they will ask questions. That's how I
okay,
believe
yes.
governance should be.
Yeah, I still
Okay.
remember that. I live in Oshun too. uh, what one last thing that I wanted to say is that, but it's not like maybe I'm try to solicit
Sashigo,
on people's behalf.
Sashigo,
Yes,
can
yeah.
we please let's hear from Kings of Tesla? I know he wanted to say something, that's why he came up. King of Tesla, do you have anything on your mind? Are you there? Okay. Since he's not talking yet, you can go ahead, Sashigo.
Well, it's not like maybe I'm trying to tell people like what to do, but it's a collective effort. I think if they want to implement this on everybody in Nigeria, a lay down procedures should be analyzed one after the other.
On how they will spend it, or I'm trying to understand your question.
No,
That's
it's not how they will they spend it. It's a kind of let's take a constitution, for instance. In a constitution of Nigeria, there are some laws that guide against the spending, the jurisdiction, and all that. Let them go back to the drawing table and analyze things. Maybe they will put it in constitution or something that everybody will aware, every governor will know, every president will know, every local government chairman will know. Do you understand? That this money is set aside for a purpose, and anybody that goes against it is automatically maybe a jail time, because here you don't put your money on public fund and say you want to. Is
America will be 250 this year. We are going there. We are getting there.
no. It's not like America will be. Those people. In fact, when I become a citizen, there are some things that I read that make me understand how this country works. Do you understand? Because those laid down procedures has been there, and if you go against it, he said, to whomsoever that break the edge, serpent will bite. They will come for you. They will come for you.
So let me move on with my last question, or second to the last question, because we still have a lot that we have here. So before we segue to other things, so do you think that this tax reform that they introduced this year, that everybody is talking about economic hardship, do you think is fair on the citizen? We are not saying we are
Well,
pay the tax, but introducing the tax in a time like this, do you think it's fair on us, or do you think it's a good thing that concerns the citizens? Is it for us or against us introducing tax reform in a time like this during hardship, Rotunde?
okay.
Olotu,
Yes, sir.
can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, sorry, my network was kind of like glitchy when you were asking the question. Can you ask the question again, please? I'm
I
sorry.
was asking that introducing tax reform in this year when we know that there's economic hardship in town, you know, do you think it's fair on this netizen or citizen?
I'll be I'll be careful in responding to that question before I get cancelled. Introducing tax reform now, it's not placing hardship. I have answered that question before. It's in fact an ease if we think about it very well. But I get what you're saying. There's an economic hardship in the country, right? But just as Tinubu removed fuel subsidy, can you hear me? You are frozen. Just as Tinubu removed fuel subsidy, and people were like, "Oh, it's not the right time." The country cannot continue to survive.
Because why I asked is like, now that the tax reform is going on, a lot of markets have increased their products. Transportation will be more expensive. Now people will now, use that as an excuse to
That
increase a lot of things.
and that goes to show how bad Nigerians are. You understand what I'm saying? So is it the fault of the government? No, it's not. Because of the fact that the people that are increasing their prices and all of that, they are mm, they are not increasing it because tax is a new thing to them.
They're increasing it too. Let me break it down. Now, I know that we're at the end of the year, I will pay $2,000 because if
Mhm.
for 20%, I made 200 extra apart from the 800. I made 200 extra, and they will remove tax from that 200. So I want to include that money in my expenses to my customers. Or tax yìí ẹ̀yin lẹ máa san sẹ́ẹ̀.
And that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Let me say what I said again. The people that are increasing their the value of their product, they are devilish in the sense that there can be two categories of businesses: a business that is already paying tax now, or that was paying tax before now,
Mhm.
or a business that was not paying taxes before. Right? Both of them. Well, let me speak to the ones that are not paying taxes before. Right? They are. They were not in the right in the first place. If you're making money, you pay taxes. And secondly, like someone posted in the chat that the taxes for the rich and not the poor. I cannot come up. Maybe if I'm able to get hold of the actual policy, there are articles of the policy that if you're paying taxes as a small business, you're doing something wrong in Nigeria
Yeah.
right now, even with the new tax policy. Because if they say that before you, okay, okay, I'm remembering now. There are two clauses. Either you have a 50 million naira revenue, that's when you pay taxes. More than 50
For
million
business owners,
for
yeah.
business owners.
Mhm.
Now, there is another way you can actually not pay tax as a business owner, even if you have more than 250 million. If you have, I think, 200 million in fixed assets. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To me, as a business owner, if I'm making more than 50 million dollars, sorry, not naira in revenue, or I'll pay taxes, right? However, if I decide to buy real estate
Mm.
up to the tune of 200 million, I'm not paying taxes. Because what that thing is going to do is at least you're injecting money into the economy. Those are the two ways that government benefit from this tax reform. In that you will pay tax or we force you to keep money flowing in the economy. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
So if you're doing all of that and you still want to increase price because now tax is a new thing, then you're the bad person, not the government. Another thing is, if as a business owner, I'm not saying that your tax will be, let's say you make um um 55 million, your taxes will not be on the 55 million. No,
No. It should
it
be on forward.
is going to be on your profit on that 55 million. So the tax reform still gives you an opportunity to do write-offs, in that my revenue is 55 million, but my cost of making this revenue is 50 million. You understand? Then you're paying taxes on 5 million. So why is it now hard to do as a business? So again, going back to what I said earlier, Nigerians are the problem of Nigeria. because everybody is looking for how to evade tax. And again, I'm not saying that this is peculiar to Nigeria. Even in the US, there are people that try to evade taxes. That one is, but at the end of the day, there are corporations that cannot escape that taxes, and they're already paying these taxes already. But it's going,
Excuse me, Mr. Babatunde. I want to correct that statement. It's not a fight, but it's just, like,
oh no all right, please go ahead. Like I said,
yeah.
I'm not a financial expert. I don't know anything.
But you speak like one anyway. I admire your
I said I speak like
how you
one.
speak. Yeah. Like I said the other time, some of us that we traveled out of Nigeria, we got here and our eyes had opened. You can't say we are the problem of ourselves, that there are some things that are not being put in place. Do you get my point now? If okay, let's talking about corruption. When they know they put you in office, you embezzled money, and you already know the lead and procedure towards that. That if you embezzle this money, is either they put you in life imprisonment or you put all what you have down. You know, that is how they do here. All the money that you say you own, they will take it from you in order to escape jail time. Do you understand? So a lay-down procedure should be there. If actually they want to move, like Nigeria want to move from this analog to digital world.
What he's talking about.
Do you understand? Do you understand my point now?
Mr. Shigo, I understand you perfectly. Let me answer you in two ways.
Yes,
Number
sir.
one, it would be a fallacy to say that there are no embezzlement in the Western world.
Exactly.
Yeah, but the way they do their own is different from ours.
I will explain why it is different.
Like the last time they said a big python swallowed some money.
Have
you forgot so soon?
No, I get what you're saying. I only started with that to let you know that corruption is
all of us are struggling with that trauma of that story. Don't worry, Uncle Shigo.
corruption is not a word reserved for Nigeria. That's what I'm saying. The only difference is, I don't know about now, right? But if any public office holder in the US is caught for corruption, there are systems in place that will prosecute that person, right? And there's no, omo yami lele, aburo mini, I know him from somewhere. Not like that. And I'm going somewhere. You understand what I mean? What I mean by Nigeria is the problem of Nigeria now. If you go to Nigeria, and let me start by answering that what you said about constitutional, like the lay down rule about how money should be spent and embezzlement, there's actually law in Nigeria about it. You understand what I'm saying? There's constitutional budget and appropriation enforcement in Nigeria. There's oversight by the legislature. So, and that was what you see with Malami being invited by the legislature, and now is in AFCC, whatever. So that shows that there are actually real laws in Nigeria that shows how money should be spent, and if you don't spend it the right way, you will be prosecuted for it. There's public accountability and anti-corruption obligation. There is EFCC. There's ICPC. Those are backed by real laws in Nigeria. But here's the problem. Let me give you one example. Yaya Bello was there was a news about Yaya Bello that paid for his children's tuition in dollars, and the government EFCC said that we are going after him and all of that. At the time that news broke, the social media space were divided, in that some people were like, oh, this should be a case for like it should be in EFCC, whatever. And then so people were like, oh, it's which one thing? Leave him, he's our son in Kogi. That is the problem of Nigeria. Not that there's no law. It is the will to enforce that law. Because everybody sees it as, oh, and I think I said it earlier that everybody sees that it's corruption as long as I'm not involved. If we go on the streets of Nigeria today and we ask people, the mindset of the people was like, oh, I want to one bed. That is the problem with Nigeria. Not that there's no law. It's a mindset thing. We are all corrupt in Nigeria, not our leaders. Because anybody that you see that is criticizing government and saying, give him an opportunity to be there. Let me give you one historical funny example. And again, I'm not saying that it is allegedly, right? Before someone come for me, there was a story that our professor was criticizing Babangida's regime of misappropriation of funds and embezzlement, right? What did Babangida do? He gave Baba a position, a ministerial. Was it a ministerial? No, not a ministerial position, but he made him to head his sector, and Baba left in disgrace because money went missing. And I'm not saying it was Baba that stole the money or Baba that misappropriated the fund, but it shine light into the fact that it is easier to say our government is corrupt when you're not there yet, because in the mind of every Nigerian, it takes the grace of God to get into that place and not want to swallow money. And the reason why the example that you gave about the snake and the monkey was permitted was because they know that people do not care about.
Well,
You understand what I'm saying? So, and like I said earlier, it is the citizen that becomes the leader.
exactly. But one more thing, sir.
So yeah, running out of because we need to go because of our time is well spent. So you can write up your thoughts, Mr. Shigo, and Bertunu will do so. Then we'll call it a day.
Okay. Thank you for that, man. Um, I think my thought will still be on this. We still based on this.
Implementation.
Yeah, we can't keep doing the same thing the same way, and we expect different result. It is only a fool that will do that. Even coming to our very lives, like the way we run our lives, you can't give the same approach to the same thing. Let's say, okay, this is new year. You say you want new year, new resolution. There are some things you have to put in place for the failure of last year not to repeat itself in your life this year. Do you understand what I'm saying? We can't keep saying, oh, we are corrupt, we are corrupt, we are corrupt. If we really want changes that we say we want, do you understand now? Some things has to shift. Some things has to be put in place. I want us to remember this woman, Dora Akuile, when he was a head of NAFDAC. You know, during that time, during her tenure, that time before what happened, there is no fake drug counterfeit that she aware of that they will not get rid out of the market. We need people like that. We need people that we can hold accountable and commit all those things into their hands. Quote me anywhere that Shigo of London said this one day, but the fact will remain the fact. We can't keep saying, okay, our leaders are corrupt, myself, I'm corrupt, and nobody will get there and will not embezzle money. If we truly need a change, there are some countries that are not even have what we have. They are living fine. Mr. Babatunde can testify to what I'm saying. Do you understand?
How do you
Even
know you can testify?
yeah, he can. He's in US. I'm in Texas. I live in Texas.
How do you know? You know him so well.
No. He made mention that he's in US. But what I'm saying is that Even Texas is one. If Texas want to, Texas is one of the largest city here in America. I mean, the largest what's it called state here in America. If Texas want to declare that they are not part of United States today, they have that capacity. They can do that. Do you understand what I mean now? So if we want that Niger to change, like everybody should enjoy, whether you even have job or you don't have job. Even if you don't have job here, you will still eat. Government will still come to your aid. Can Nigerian people, our leader, can they do that? No, they don't call them money for themselves. So to round it up, so I will not take much time. We can't keep doing the same thing the same way and we expect different results. So that's my opinion. That's my what's it called on that.
So personally,
I
I
muted
want to
it
give
now.
them opportunity, room for another doubt. Like let's give them another opportunity again. So now that they're introducing tax that our own sweats, initially we are all talking about the general revenue that we make in the country. It doesn't concern you, like you and you. Now it is now your sweat. So let's do our own diligent part of it by paying it, and let's see if you give them like a year and nothing is changing, then we can have this conversation again. Like it's now a year that you guys have been taking our tax, then we can start holding them accountable and start questioning them. And now the question is not really to president, because most of the time we channel our energy to the wrong person. The person that is really embezzling this money is sitting somewhere crossing fingers and sipping something while we are ranting and shouting at the president, and he will just say like, I've treated that case. To him, he's done it. It can't really be in bits. So he has done the greater one by sharing the revenue to different states. Now instead of shouting Tinubu, 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 can we start shouting Dapo Abiodun, Dapo Abiodun, Sanwo-Olu, and like that Seyi Makinde, and we go like that. And from there we'll go to our respective representatives in the House of Assembly, start mentioning those people's name. Let's take Tinubu out of our mouth, talking about different approach, different results. Maybe we should try by taking out Tinubu's name from our mouth and start calling these people. Maybe we'll get another approach to them, and we can start holding them accountable for that. That's my thought. Brotunde.
Ẹ ṣé olóòtú, iléeṣẹ́ yín ò ní jóná, ó yá máa ròkè. So Mr. Shigo said something earlier that it's not a fight, and I want to start by that. No, it's not a fight. I never, I don't take it as such. I want to start by kind of providing a response to what he said in his last statement, that we can't continue to do the same thing and expecting the same result. And I agree with you. And in fact, I agree with you because we are saying the same thing from different angles. The reason why I said that is in line with not doing the same thing and expecting the same result. I would say that this new tax policy actually exemplifies that in changing things. Like I said earlier, Nigerians have been paying taxes, but the old tax was not standard. There are a lot of loopholes. What this new tax policy does is standardizing it. And like I said earlier as well, that new tax policy does not mean people are paying more taxes. It just means that more people are going to be, people cannot run away from tax, right? Which again is all about doing something new now. The other thing about how the money is going to be spent, I believe also that it lies on the people to now put their eye down. And I think Olutu said that in calling out people that needs to be called out. The other thing is, and again, this is kind of like a direct response to Mr. Shigo now when he said that we need people like Dora Kunyuli. Dora did great. But the fact that in your example, you can only mention one Dora Akuyuli out of about 260 million people shows how bad the people of Nigeria are, right? So We, and I'm not saying it because
Professor Jega is there as well.
Eh?
Those are
Which Jega?
hey,
Which
yes.
Jega?
hey,
Èmi
hey,
ò sí wá mi wálé ni o.
hey. You remember Jega was the INEC chairman when
Ayé chairman.
BVN was not working. Or what was this thing that was? Again, let's not derail this thing. But the point that I'm making is, yes, Dora Akunyili was great. Arguably, because you mentioned his name, Jega may be great to you. I don't think so. But it also shine light on the fact that on the same topic that we're mentioning. And if Nigeria is going to be great, we need to start from somewhere. And I mentioned chicken and the end because we can now say that is it the reform in how money is supposed to be spent that will come first, or getting more money? Because okay, let me say that Nigeria is a broke country. We are poor. Nigeria as a government is poor. Let's say the truth. And the reason why I'm saying that is because
Nigeria is not poor.
okay. Nigeria is rich in resource, but poor in money. That's the truth.
Poor, you will say poor in management.
Even in money. Let me give you an example of why I said
You
that.
know how things is wrong here.
Mr.
I want to
Shigo,
correct that
Mr. Shigo,
statement.
Mr.
I'm
Shigo,
so sorry.
Mr. Shigo, hold on. Let me give you numbers to show you that Nigeria is poor.
Okay.
You cannot expect Western world infrastructure in Nigeria. That's the truth. I'll give you an example. You mentioned Texas, right? Do you know what the GDP of Texas is?
As at
I mean, as of 2024,
yes.
what is the GDP of Texas? I'll say the GDP of Texas in real GDP is $2.2 trillion.
Ní Nàìjíríà.
That's the state. What is the GDP of Nigeria in dollars as of 2024 as well?
Well, the way things, the currency
280
of
hold on, 285 billion. What that means is the economy of Nigeria is
Compare
Texas
to their
divided by
economy.
10.
Yeah. Compare
So
to
when we want to think about the Western world, let's not translate what we are seeing in Western world. It's not. Again, don't get me wrong. Corruption is in Nigeria. I get it, but Nigeria is not rich. It's a bittersweet pill to swallow, but that's the truth.
Nigeria is not rich. They built their houses. They buy new cars. Tieroba, not Tokumbo.
And that's what
If
I'm
you
running. This
if
is
you
what
buy a new car here, they will want to even know how you gather your money, what you are doing,
and this is
and
what Mr.
you are
Shigo,
able to pay for it.
Mr. Shigo, let's avoid this conversation about how politicians spend money. I said it. I agree with you on that, right? But the response that I give to that is, if you're paying, let's pay tax first. And if people are still shouting the name of the person that is embezzling the tax that they pay,
I don't dispute that. I don't
it's not
dispute
my
that.
fault.
Yes.
And the problem is not that Nigeria does not have the law. Nigeria has the law, but it is the people. See, if you carry any politician tomorrow, you will be shocked at how many people will be going to the police, the IGP, the even the president to plead that help us release him. That is the problem, right? So we take the law as otishele. You should that's the common mindset of Nigerians. It has happened. Let's bygone be bygone. That's why all these politicians are able to embezzle money and get away with it, because they know. Okay, let me give you an example, and I'm sorry for putting out a name. Colon Shanumi. There is a notable politician in the Southwest that was arrested for embezzlement. The day this man was released from the prison, and again, I'm going to get away from that by not mentioning his name. I am,
He's still innocent person. Yeah, wọ́n wá gbàlù, wọ́n wá ń jó.
Exactly. You get the point. The day he was released from prison, people entered the streets beating drums to welcome him. How do you think that is going to be received in the mind of other politicians that want to embezzle money? So the problem is not our law. The problem is our culture and the people. That is the point that I'm trying to make. Not that I'm saying that we should allow things to go. My point is, let's exactly. If people are not ready to change, things will continue this way it is going. Do we have an agreement now, Mr. Shigo? I'm not against what you're saying, no.
Yes. I agree with you 100%.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And looking at our time, this is we want to call it a day today. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Shigo. Thank you for being part of this conversation. The topic remains the Nigerian new reform, the basic things we need to know. So I believe with your presence here, you must have taken one or two things home. Same thing with Brotunde and same thing with me too, that the reform is for our relief. It's also a blessing to us, depending on how we perceive it. And now, coming after a year, we'll come back again. We'll see how far they have gone with our tax, because tax is part of the government. Thank you for joining us. See you some other time. Don't forget to join us again next week, same time, same here. We'll bring another relatable topics, trending topics that needs our conversation on it.
Nigeria is playing Algeria now. Go and watch us.
Who's gonna win? Let's
Nigeria now. Who else should win? We must win.
Prediction in Mumin. What's your prediction?
I cannot be 2-0.
Okay, she go kill prediction in. Okay.
But we're dominating the game, Sha. So we should win.
Congratulations to us. At least the area of entertainment, I should put a problem with Lua.
Well, I'm not really following the football of the team, but I love soccer too anyway.
Okay.
Go and watch us. Go and watch us.
Go and watch and do go Niger, go Niger.
Yeah, I will. It's nice talking with you guys. It's
nice to meet you too, Mr.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Where states are you in US?
Texas. We are neighbors.
Oh, you are in Texas?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Cool.
What of you?
I'm gonna give you follow now. Oh, I follow you already.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Where are you from? Which state are you from in the US?
Myself.
Mm-hmm.
It's Texas.
Oh, in Texas, Kira yín long. Àwa Minnesota. Ẹ ṣáà máa gbàdúrà kó má gbé wa lọ tán.
We are going to Nigeria.
Kí Trump má jẹ́ ká pa Oṣòdì.
All right.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
All right, brother.